Imagine you're walking through a busy street in London. You've got your head down, scrolling through your phone, and bang, you walk straight into a British person at full speed. And what happens? They say sorry to you. Yes, the person who just got knocked over is apologising to the person who caused it. That's British politeness for you. We apologise constantly, sometimes even when it's completely unnecessary. In many other cultures, sorry is reserved for serious mistakes or major inconveniences. But here in the UK, it's almost like a reflex. We even apologise when someone else bumps into us. Knowing how to apologise the British way is essential if you want to sound natural. We don't just say sorry once and move on. We've got different variations, different levels of sincerity, and even body language that goes along with it. I know it's a lot to absorb, but in this video, I'll take you through 5 parts. The word sorry and its many uses, everyday apologies for minor mishaps or mistakes, more sincere ways to apologise, formal and professional apologies, the body language of apologising. All right, we have a few things to cover, so let's get started. Section 1. The word sorry and its many uses. Before we get into apologies, let's talk about the word sorry itself. In Britain, sorry isn't only about admitting fault. It has a whole range of functions in daily conversation. For example, when we don't hear something, we don't normally say, "What?" It sounds too blunt and comes across as rude. Instead, we might say, "Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you say it again?" On a crowded train, you'll often hear people muttering, "Sorry, sorry, sorry," as they squeeze past. Here, it doesn't mean they've done something wrong. It's simply our way of saying "excuse me" politely. We also use sorry to get attention. Imagine you're in a cafe and you need the waiter. You might say, for example, "Sorry, could I get the bill, please?" Sometimes sorry even helps us avoid confrontation. Let's say someone's taking up 2 seats on the bus. Instead of demanding "move over," a Brit is more likely to say, "Sorry, do you mind if I sit here?" As you can see, sorry in the UK is flexible. It's a social lubricant. It helps us stay polite, even in situations where other cultures wouldn't apologise at all. It's important to note that we also use the word sorry to express compassion, not just to apologise. For instance, if someone shares a negative experience, we might say, "I'm so sorry to hear that," or "I'm really sorry about what you've been through." In these situations, we aren't offering an apology. We're simply using the word sorry to show empathy. In English, sorry can mean so many things. How about in your language? Let me know in the comments how you express sorry. I'm so interested to find out. Right, let's move on to section 2. Everyday apologies for minor mishaps or mistakes. Here's where British culture really shows. We often apologise for things that aren't our fault, sometimes just to keep the peace. Take a restaurant example. If the waiter brings the wrong dish, you'd expect the waiter to apologise, but a Brit might express their correction with their own apology. For example, "Excuse me, I actually ordered the vegetarian lasagna. Sorry for the faff." It softens the complaint so we don't come across as rude. Timekeeping is another big one. Arriving late is considered rude, so the first thing we say is, "Sorry I'm late. The traffic was awful. Notice how we don't just say sorry. We usually give a little explanation, even if it's not necessary. And then there's clumsiness. If you spill your drink or knock something over, it's almost automatic to follow it up with, "Oh gosh, sorry, I'm so clumsy." We often add a bit of self-deprecation like, "I'm useless" or "typical me," which makes the apology sound lighter and more relatable. Now let's say you accidentally hurt someone, like dropping something on their foot. In this case, a British person's first instinct is to check they're okay. So, they would most likely say something along these lines. "Oh no, are you all right? I'm so sorry. I hope that didn't hurt." So, as you can see, we have concern first and apology second. Now let's take a look at what happens when the situation is more serious. Section 3. More sincere apologies. Sometimes a quick little "sorry" just doesn't cut it. When something goes wrong in a bigger way, we need to step it up and make the apology sound stronger, deeper, and more genuine so the other person really feels that we mean it. One of the most common ways we do this is by adding emphasis. Instead of a plain "sorry," you'll often hear a Brit say, "I'm really sorry," or "I'm terribly sorry." Adding these words makes the apology sound much more heartfelt. You'd use this if, for example, you completely forgot about plans to meet up with a friend. Another one is, "That was completely my fault." It's strong because it takes full responsibility. But here's the funny thing. If you say this to a Brit, they'll often reply with something like, "No, don't be silly, it was me." We love to share the blame. It's all part of being polite. And finally, when we feel truly guilty, we often add a little more to our apology to show just how strongly we mean it. For example, after saying sorry, you might follow up with, "I feel terrible," or "I feel awful." By expressing your emotions like this, the apology comes across as real and heartfelt. All right, let's move into the professional world for the next section. Section 4. Formal and polite apologies. Apologizing at work or in formal situations is a bit of an art in the UK. We're still polite, of course, but we often shy away from taking full blame directly. Instead, we take responsibility politely, in a controlled, reputation-saving way, so we sound considerate without undermining ourselves. In professional settings, a classic way to acknowledge an error is to use "apologies for the mix-up." Do you notice how that's different from "I'm sorry"? Using the word apologies makes it sound more neutral and less personal. It acknowledges the mistake without drawing too much attention to it, making it perfect for an email or a meeting. Another polite and direct phrase is "sorry for keeping you waiting." But here's a very useful trick. If you feel like you're over-apologizing, you can switch from an apology to an expression of gratitude. Instead of saying "sorry" again, you could say, "Thank you for your patience." This still shows politeness, but puts a positive spin on the situation. And here's another great tip. When a colleague points out your mistake, instead of falling over yourself with "sorry, sorry, sorry," it's often more effective to respond with "thank you for bringing this to my attention." This shifts the focus from your error to their helpfulness, making you sound professional and composed while still being grateful for their correction. Now, let's turn to the final piece, body language. Section 5. Body language when apologising. Words are important, but British apologies are often reinforced with subtle gestures. A classic one is placing your hand on your chest while you say sorry. It makes the apology feel much more heartfelt. You might also see a quick grimace or wince, the kind of face you make when something goes wrong, as if you're sharing the discomfort. What we don't usually do is overly dramatic gestures, like clasped hands together. That can look insincere, almost like you're acting. In Britain, less is more. Keep it natural and genuine. So there you have it, the many ways Brits apologise. Next time you're in the UK, notice how often sorry pops up around you. You'll be amazed by just how deeply it's woven into daily life here. If you want more practical tips and real-life English expressions delivered straight to your inbox, don't forget to subscribe to my free newsletter. The link is in the description. Also, follow me on TikTok and Instagram for some quick tips. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.